You know, there are people who think that fucking lizards exist that can fucking take over your brain, and 5G cell towers are going to give you cancer. You know what I'm
Bro,
saying?
what
Like,
you on right now?
you can't.
She feeling saucy. I'm feeling sturdy. I got a 4 piece. Up in the 30. They tryna hold me. She like curry. They feeling salty. I'm feeling sturdy.
Speaking about the Knicks, Julius Randle, 27 points, 12 rebounds, 5 assists.
Mm.
He's looking like he might have an all-star year this year. RJ Barrett, 23 points. Emmanuel Quickly,
Quickly,
25 points.
I like him.
And those are the standouts for the Knicks. For the Clippers, sorry, Clippers came out on top of this one, 129 to 115. Kawhi Leonard, 28 points. Serge Ibaka, 15 points. Paul George, 17 points, 5 assists, 8 rebounds. And Reggie Jackson, 18 points.
Yeah. Shout out to Emmanuel quickly. He's part of the Chris Brickley camp. Like, you know what I mean? He's one of his proteges. So he put a lot of time in the gym. I watched a lot of videos of him prior to getting drafted before the Knicks even knew they was gonna get him. He puts a lot of work in the gym. He's good, man. He's really good.
He
Yeah,
put up
he's
numbers
nice.
today.
He's nice.
He definitely had a nice little game. Last game of the day, Denver Nuggets beat the Utah Jazz 128 to 117.
Mm.
So
Yeah,
standouts
47, didn't he?
standouts for the Jazz. Bojan Bogdanovic, 29 points. Damn. Okay. Rudy Gobert, 12 points, 8 rebounds.
Mm-hmm.
Donovan Mitchell, 13 points, 3 assists, 1 rebound.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And Mike Conley, 12 points, 8 assists. And Jordan Clarkson, 13 points. Joe Ingles, 10 points, 6 assists. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
they had a tough day.
Mm-hmm. And
Uh,
that's what the big
There's
boys be
a lot of
talking
eyes
about.
on that game because of that win streak.
well, not even just the win streak, also because of Shaq's comments about
That's right.
Donovan being
Both of them.
great. So this wasn't really a good start, but it's still a lot of games left. For the Nuggets standouts, Will Barton, 18.6 assists. Paul Millsap, 10 points. Nikola Jokic, 47 points, 12 rebounds, 5 assists.
Got a AK on them.
Jamal Murray, 16 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds. And Michael Porter Jr., 11 points, 4 rebounds.
I thought they traded him.
Nope. Who
Um,
told you that one? He's still on there.
uh, but shout out to that boy, man. Yo, shout out to Shaq, man, because he be knowing what he talking about. Because he ain't letting up off of Rudy, and he ain't letting up off of Donovan. And guess what? Utah just gave them a shitload of money. So that's another thing they doing. They look like they desperate again for something like what they had years ago. So, but they put the bag on them boys. So y'all got to put that work in. That's
Yeah,
all
I
Shaq's
mean,
saying.
what Shaq, I think what Shaq said, as that was a big thing too. What Shaq said didn't come off publicly correct, but he wasn't lying where Donovan has to take the next step to be a superstar. Where he's a good player offensively, he scores, he's able to make plays off the pick and roll, but when he doesn't have a shot and it's not going in, he needs to figure out other ways to be effective in the game. That's really what Shaq was aiming at. And you can see here, it didn't he has to translate it. So that was the task he was giving Donovan that didn't come off the greatest.
Yeah. Well, I like it. Cause guess what? Ain't nobody your daddy. Ain't nobody here to hold your hand. It's the real world, suckers. Presentation ain't gonna always be great. You gotta take the message for what it is sometimes. Put that work in. That's what the message is.
How you feel about it, Joe?
The Jazz lost a game to another great team in the West. Doesn't take away from the fact that they're still one of the top, I say top four teams probably.
You,
Um, in no particular order. They're
you,
good. They're on a win streak. These things happen.
you feel like Donovan Mitchell is a superstar?
I think the term superstar just gets thrown around a lot. I'm not even sure that there really are that many. I mean, if you're not KD, if you're not James Harden, if you're not Luca, if you're not LeBron, if you're not Steph, if you're
Well,
not
what about
Kawhi,
them?
if you're not
Them is the people that I have a problem with because they the ones that said that it sounds like Shaq is soft hating. I think KD and LeBron said that, and because of him and Charles Barkley. So first of all, these people are paid to discuss their thoughts on the game. TNT gives them a lot of fucking money to do it. Like, if that's what their personal feelings is, especially as former NBA players, how is it soft hating? This is a sport. This is what people play sports to say he's good, to say he's not good, to say he's stink. He can't, as a basketball player, if you're competitive, you can't tell me you haven't came to the court and said, "Man, he ain't shit." And like, you know what I mean? That's basketball. That's just basketball. So for them to get mad when somebody start talking shit to them on the court or popping shit, LeBron will pull a card, KD will pull a card and say, "Who the fuck is you? You ain't shit. You ain't where you play at. Who are you?" So for them to get mad when Shaq is telling somebody, "You need to put that work in, young boy. You ain't putting no work in. You ain't do nothing. You ain't earned it yet." Shaq got fucking multiple rings. All of that. He's qualified to make that statement. It's not like he's some fucking hobo in a barbershop just telling you, like, yo, yeah, y'all young bloods ain't doing it right. Y'all ain't shit. Y'all need to put the work in. Who are you? But this is Shaquille, one of the greatest big men of all time, O'Neal. So how is that soft hating? I
But I
don't.
don't think it's the fact that he's not qualified to say it. I think it's the fact that they're mad at the way he said it. As far as
This is Roy coming to you from Prolific Culture. We want to say thank y'all for tuning in and checking us out. Please hit that like button, comment, and subscribe so we can keep bringing y'all these dope videos. One kind of love and good vibes only. Everybody, please be safe out there and take it easy. One.
the way he did it, where it could be taken. You seen the awkward science where it caught Donovan off guard. We're like, okay, like I don't think it was the fact that Shaq's not qualified to say it. I think the way he said it, that's what most people frown upon it. Where we'd have no problem with you telling Donovan, you don't think he's superstar material yet. He needs to add more or do more. We have no problem with you saying that because you know what it takes. You won multiple times. We have a problem with the way you said it to him, where you're saying to him in the post game interview on national TV, where this is going to be seen by all, instead of coming at him, in confined area or privacy or in a one-on-one setting where you could just let him know
But
that you
wasn't
need to
that
get better.
that was the topic that they were talking about? So it was like he was almost owning it because when they went right into the conversation, he was like, "Yo, I was telling the fellas right here, Donovan, I don't believe that you like, you know what I mean." He didn't. It
Right.
wasn't really
But
like
he said, I don't believe that such and such. But
he's like,
he
and
said
he
you're
was.
not good. You're not good enough. So that's something you don't say to me like
I
you
don't
don't
think
say
he
it
said
like
you're
that.
good enough. I think I forgot how he said it. He didn't say you're
He
not good
basically
enough.
it came across that way. This is how it came across to the masses. Where if Shaq would have did that in privacy or one on one with him, cool, you Shaq. But you're on a platform and you're saying this in a certain way to him that just doesn't appeal to the masses that are tuned in the way
That's
it's
because
supposed to.
everybody is so fucking sensitive.
Right, but this is the thing. If this is your occupation, you have to understand how people are, and you have to understand the climate before you do things, or you get backlash like this. Not saying he was wrong of his opinion, because Shaq is right, where Donovan does have to take the next step, but a certain way to do it. That's what most people were upset at.
Bruh.
See, and that right there is the one thing that I want to address. The pigeonhole sometimes we put ourselves in, where it's not what you say, is how you say it. If we're gonna evolve as humans, we have to really stop putting these arguments that are hedged, right? And so like everybody wants to be mad at hedge funds and shit, right? Because they're essentially just hedging their bets, saying that both things exist at one time when it's not necessarily the case. Who fucking cares what anyone else thinks? To the masses, sure, yes, Shaq's job is to present something in a particular way so that people absorb it. But whether or not they absorb it is just flipping a fucking coin. Who knows? You know, there are people who think that fucking lizards exist that can fucking take over your brain and 5G cell towers are going to give you cancer. You know what I'm
Bro,
saying?
what
Like,
you on right
you
now?
can't communicate anything
Yeah.
to anybody in this. No, I'm just saying that, like, yo, there's a greater point here, that there's something wrong with the way that we're fucking thinking, just as humans. Yo, like, why the fuck does the way that somebody says something? Why does that affect me, if the substance of what they're saying is accurate?
Because
That's the point that I'm
everybody's
making,
sensitive and these are kids he's talking to. So this generation,
bro. If
the way they take things, it's the way that they absorb things is such delicate. Like you got to be delicate.
And honestly
Shaq was
speaking,
raised.
Donovan took it as well as he could because he said, "Yeah, I've been told that all my life." So
Yeah, and I
he
think that
took
he
it well.
took it well. I think everybody else didn't.
Right.
But guess what? It wasn't given to everybody else. He was talking to Donovan as a big man legend, to another up and coming NBA star that he wants to see go into being a superstar because he sees that potential there. He sees that D Wade like shit in him, but guess what? D Wade had this oomph that Donovan don't. You feel me? That ability to go get that game
D
when
Wade
he
was just
won it.
different. Yeah.
That's the but talent wise, it's all there. The pieces there, the body, the same thing. He can shoot better than D Wade. So why is he not having that oomph to go grab those games?
yo, you see what we do? This nigga D Wade can't even retire in peace. Are you fucking kidding me right now?
Wait, what you mean?
He shoots better than D Wade.
Or
What?
at the same time in their career, if you compare the stats, yes,
Yeah,
statistically
D
he
Wade
does.
wasn't known as a shooter. He was always known as an extreme slasher and a defensive
A
prowess.
great finisher, and he could hit the
And he
mid
could play
range
make as
shot.
well. Yes. And
You
he
know
had
what
a
I
little bit
mean?
All right, so
When
turnaround.
did D Ray start hitting threes?
She feeling saucy. I'm feeling sturdy. I got a 4-piece. Up in the 30. They tryna hold me. Shoot like Curry. They feeling salty. I'm feeling sturdy.